for a while, I genuinely think most liberals did not think that Republicans are actively lying. I think that many liberals believed that they were misinformed or operating off the wrong set of facts. I think that for a lot of people, it's uncomfortable to reconcile with the idea that very powerful people who have the ability to change your life for the worse very quickly are comfortable going up there and knowingly lying for the purpose of making your life worse. You know, I think that, and I think that's genuinely like a scary thing to reconcile with, right? That's not, I personally find that deeply uncomfortable. You know, I would like to believe, it would be comfortable for me to believe that people who are wrong because their framework, their way of analyzing the world is incorrect, or they have the wrong facts. Like, there is a way of shifting them if they were just exposed to the correct information, the correct argument. And the unfortunate truth is that no, there are people for whom truth and lies are meaningless distinctions in their pursuit of power, in their pursuit of whatever it is they care about. And that is the default position now of the right wing, at the very least, from their pundits and politicians. I think the average Republican voter is anti-empiricist, but unaware of it. I think that they are resistant to factual information. I think that they will reject information that is clearly true in ways that are inconsistent. I think they experience doublethink near constantly. But I don't think that in their mind, they're thinking, yes, I know I'm lying, but it doesn't matter because I'm pursuing power. This tweet is from a person who knows that they're lying. This is the point that I'm making. You have to know your enemy. You have to know where people are at, you know? And I ask you, what would be the point of debating someone like this on any of the points they list here, since they don't seem to care whether or not these points are actually true? You could debunk a point and they'll go like, okay, well, that didn't matter. We'll do the next one. Oh, you can debunk the point. Well, it didn't matter because they're just going to do the next one. You could debunk that and it's like, well, it wasn't about that anyway. Then why were you talking about it? Why were you lying about it? Why were you elevating that argument if it was incorrect? It wasn't about that, then why did you make it about that? Because they're okay with lying. What happens when you debunk the last point? They cycle back to the first one. I wish there was a satisfying answer, but from personal experience, I can tell you with great confidence that if you debunk the last point that they have before you get to their real position, they just cycle back to the first one. And then you go, wait, we already talked about this. And then it just continues forever. It doesn't matter. You're wasting time. It's very much the, must we go over the quote again, folks? I would love to. Thank you. What Sartre said about anti-Semites. One of the most, for me, one of the most formative bits of political philosophy that I've ever read, incredibly important to my, I guess, growth as an individual. We'll go over it once more. Never believe that anti-Semites are completely unaware of the absurdity of their replies. They know that their remarks are frivolous, open to challenge, but they are amusing themselves, for it is their adversary who is obliged to use words Shut up. Use words responsibly, since he believes in words. The anti-Semites have the right to play. They even like to play with discourse, for, by giving ridiculous reasons, they discredit the seriousness of their interlocutors. They delight in acting in bad faith, since they seek not to persuade by sound argument, but to intimidate and disconcert. If you press them too closely, they will abruptly fall silent, loftily indicating by some phrase that the time for argument is past. Sartre based this information on his experience dealing with Nazis and Nazi sympathizers, you know, like he was around during that time. Now, I don't know what they ended up doing to deal with the original Nazis. You know, you might look at this in despair at, well, how do you convince them then? I don't know. I mean, they must have done something back in the 40s to deal with the problem. In truth, the real answer is power. That's the real answer, you know? That's the non-like Pepe posting answer. You need to have the power to expose people, not necessarily people like this. They might be beyond hope. They just need to be disempowered. But for the average Republican voter, the reason they are the way they are is because they're in an echo chamber where they're exposed non-stop to incorrect information. And you might not be able to change their mind by correcting them because they're still in that echo chamber. They need to be removed from it entirely. They need to be exposed to social groups that favor different kinds of information, ideally correct information. That would be nice. They need to be removed from the source of the disease. It's about power. Like people in a cult, exactly. You don't deal with a cult by debating members of the cult when they go to town to buy groceries. You deal with a cult by finding like the details of whatever pedophilic hijinks the cult leader is engaged in, arresting them, breaking up the cult, and then trying to get all the cult members back to regular lives. That's how you do it, right? You all get me, don't you? It's just rare that we get such a naked endorsement of anti-empiricism, especially one Elon Musk is openly agreeing with, you know? Like, it's so blatant, but I think it's important to know this. It's important to understand this. The debate can prevent others from falling into the cult. For the 50 trillionth time, I am not saying that it's illegal for you to debate. I'm telling you what works and why it works. You can debate if you want. If the Jew did not exist, the anti-Semite would create one. Yeah, if the cat eaten by a Haitian migrant did not exist, they would create one. Precisely.